Do you feel like you're swinging the club as fast as you can, but the golf ball just doesn't go very far? Maybe as far as you think it should? What if I told you the answer could be just fixing your grip? Your grip affects how your wrists are going to move, how your arms are going to move, therefore how fast you can swing the golf club. It also affects what direction the golf ball curves. So in order to have a good grip, your grip has to be functional first and comfortable second. Forever, golfers have been told that having a good grip is fundamental to hitting a good golf shot. But if you look all over the PGA Tour, the DP World Tour, and all the best golfers in the world on the men's and women's tours, you'll find that most golfers have a lot of differences in their grip. These variables can be altered depending on the golfer, what their needs are, what their desired shot shape is, or what their miss is that they're trying to avoid. If you don't use those variables with how the wrists move, you're always going to be fighting yourself, and that's how even a good grip can be a bad grip for that player. Let's take Jordan Spieth for an example. Jordan Spieth has what I define a 0-degree grip, meaning his left hand is 0 degrees rotated. The back of his hand faces the target, his palm faces away. When he sets up, he's got the creases or the V's in his hand pointed right at his nose. Well, if Jordan Spieth were to make a golf swing with this move and move his wrists the way I move my wrists in the golf swing, he'd get to the top and his club face would be wide open. So which one's correct? For him, his is. For me, mine is. Jordan Spieth takes his grip, his 0-degree grip, and Jordan has to palmar flex or bow his left wrist a lot to be able to control the club face so that he's not hitting shanks and big old block slices, just so that he has a club face that's in control. Let's take a look at Zach Johnson. Zach Johnson plays the biggest draw on tour. When he gets to the top, his wrist is in a very dorsiflexed position, or what we call cupped. But his club face points almost at the camera. Well, that's because Zach Johnson has a very rotated grip where his left hand's rotated almost 60 to 70 degrees and his right hand is turned almost 70 to 80 degrees this direction, or what we would generally consider a strong grip. So Zach Johnson has a very strong grip. Well, if he took his grip, moved his wrists like Jordan Spieth, that face would be so closed it'd be unplayable. By the time he would get to impact, that ball would start so far left, he'd use a lob wedge, it would still launch less than 20 degrees, and he'd never be able to control it. So your grip and your wrists have to match up. All the pieces have to be accounted for. So when we start building your grip, you have to understand how your wrists and your arms need to move along with the grip that you choose to have. So when building your grip, there are 3 genuinely accepted grip types out there. There's what we call a 10-finger, where our fingers are close together, but we're holding it similar to how we would hold a softball or a baseball bat. The next one that we have is called an interlock, where we take our index finger on our lead hand and our pinky finger on our trail hand, and we interlock the two. I've used this since I learned how to play golf. This grip is used primarily for a lot of really good players, Tiger Woods, Jack Nicklaus. There's also now, the third type is called a overlap. This grip is very common for golfers with very big, strong hands or really long fingers to help keep their right hand from over-rotating in the downswing and causing a club face that gets closed. Hogan used this, Arnold Palmer used this. Whichever works for you is the one that I would go with. I care more about the rotational pieces of the grip, not your style. Whatever feels comfortable for you and gives you the confidence to hit the shot that you want to hit is the one I would go with. Couple commonalities that we see amongst all grip type is we want to put the club in the fingers. We don't want it back here in the palms. When I try to hit a golf ball with the grip in my palms, I'm going to try to orient my hands in the same position to try to play my draw. I did. Let's see how far that goes. I hit that pretty good. It went 150. As soon as I put the club in my fingers, put it in my fingers, that last one carried officially 148. We're going to put this in my fingers and just control it. I can swing the club faster. If I can swing the club faster, that ball went 168 to 170 yards in the air on a shot that I hit pretty good. That's 20 yards further by just moving the grip from my palms into my fingers. The way we put it in the fingers matters. Simple drill that I like to do with new golfers who struggle putting the club in their palm is I make them hold the club out in front of them with the toe down. I'm just letting the weight hang here. I then take my left hand and I line this up across the middle of my fingers and I curl them over the top and I rest my left thumb from next to my hand, and now I've got this in my fingers. It's not down here in my palm. I'm not wrapping my hand all the way over and putting it in the palm. I have to gently lay them across the top from the middle of the finger. I let them sit on the thumb pad. Now as I rotate my hand and I look at it, now I've got it in the fingers and it's not back in the palm. I can easily hinge this club upwards. I can easily rotate it and move it, and I can easily flex it and extend it. So now I have total control of my left hand with my grip. So once we take that position and we rotate it back this direction, my right hand, I like to take my hand to the side. Same thing, I'm putting it in the middle of my fingers. I'm going to interlock and I'm going to wrap my fingers around it this way, and I'm going to set the club right against the base of that back knuckle. From there, I'm going to close my lifeline on my trail hand over my left thumb. So now I have this in my fingers and my hands are close together and united. I now have total control over where this club head goes. Without that control, I'm not going to swing the club fast enough to try to hit the ball far enough, and I'm not going to have control over where the face goes. Therefore, I'm not going to have control over my golf ball's curvature. So once we have the club in our fingers, we have to talk about the V's of the thumbs and fingers. The V's are very evident in our grip. We can't talk about the rotational pieces of the grip without talking about how to form these. Too many people make the thumbs too long, where they stretch them out away from there, and these V's get very wide. Other people make this V really, really, really short, where they actually retract the joint, they set it there, and my thumb is very much an extension of the edge of my palm. This is where I was taught to hold the club. Jack Nicklaus did this the same way. The right hand specifically, you need a very short thumb, not long, but short. Your left hand can be short, medium, or long. Now, what does the differences do for your golf swing? Well, if I show you this, if I have a very short thumb and I hold my arm out here and I try to hinge the club as much as humanly possible, that's as much as I can go. This is a short lead thumb. Now, if I lengthen this thumb, okay, where I move the thumb away from my palm, creating a bigger crease, and I hold this out here, watch how much more I can go. I can hinge my club more. So for a golfer who struggles with hinging the club in the backswing to try to help create power, we can increase the amount of wrist hinge that they can create by lengthening the lead thumb. The rotational pieces of the grip are the pieces that I concern myself with the most as an instructor. It's also generally where we find the most differences between golfers on tour. As I mentioned before, Jordan Spieth has a very 0-degree grip. He also has an interlocking grip. 0 degrees or even rotated more to your lead shoulder is going to promote a club face that when we make contact with it is going to be very open, and it's going to require you, in order to try and not hit the ball to the right, it's going to require you to move your wrists in a way that are generally going to turn into this. You're going to add a lot of loft to your golf clubs, and you're not going to hit them very far. So if the face gets too open, we got to do some funky stuff to try and play decent golf. Now the opposite's also true. If we take somebody who has a 90-degree left-hand grip, where the palm is down 90 degrees to the ground, and I take my right hand, or for me, my trail hand, and I place it underneath, okay? This is not a natural position, and my brain wants to take this and it wants to rotate it so that it is in a comfortable position. Well, now that club face is closed, and the ball's going to want to go to the left. So in order for me to keep the face open, I have to hang on to it and drag it just to keep the face open, and I'm going to slow myself down. So if I slow myself down and I can't swing the club very fast, I'm losing the ability to play decent golf. I got to be able to hit the ball far enough to hit every par 4 and 2, a par 3 and 1, and a par 5 and at least 3 in order to play decent golf. Well, if your grip doesn't match how your wrists need to move, you're just not going to swing the club very fast because you're going to slow it down trying to hit it straight. So how much rotation pieces do we need? The answer is it depends on the golfer. If I'm hooking the ball a little too much on the day I'm going to play golf and I need to keep the face more open, I'm going to take my grip and I'm going to rotate it back towards my midline to help keep the face slightly more open so that the ball hooks less. I then go play golf with this until the ball starts fading, and then I gradually migrate back to my standard grip. Now the opposite's true. If I'm on the golf course and I just can't seem to draw it enough, I will take my hand and rotate it more to my strong side, my right side, that's where the term comes from, rotate it to my trail side to help get the face more closed so that I can hit my draw. The rule of thumb is you turn these creases in your hands like tuning dials on a radio. Kids, radios used to have dials. You always turn them towards the problem. If the ball's going right, I'm going to rotate these towards my right shoulder. That's going to help me roll the face slightly more closed and help get that golf ball to not go to the right. Now, if the ball's going left, I'm going to take these creases and I'm going to rotate them to the left a little bit, and that's just going to help me keep the face slightly more open and not hit the ball to the left. Easiest way to control the face is to alter your grip. Be comfortable making your grip slightly uncomfortable to control the club face. Too many players out there are afraid to change their grip because it changes their feel on the club. Best players in the game are going to do what they need to do to play good golf. Your grip is the fastest and easiest way to change the club face when you're playing golf. The right grip is always in the fingers. The style, 10-finger, interlock, overlap, depends on you as a player. The rotational pieces affect the club face, the ball's direction, and the curve, but also affect how hard you can swing it, because if you don't know where it's going, you won't swing the club as fast. Use these tips to help your ball flight go straighter so that you can swing the club faster. Make sure to like this video, comment below if you've had trouble with your grip and you want help changing it. I'd be more than happy to help everybody out on this channel. Also, make sure to check out my new membership option so that you can get access to members-only content just for you guys. The first 50 members that join my YouTube page will get a free swing analysis from me using my OnForm teaching app. Make sure to sign up today, lock that in. I look forward to seeing you next time on the Golf TyKoon.